Hey, if you haven't made your cup of tea yet, press pause. Go, make yourself tea. I'll wait for you. Press pause. I like that I'm on pause with my face like this. Cool. You back? Wonderful. Let's chat. So, um, so now you've done your little bit of a journal. You've made tea. You've mimed that tea. That ritual process, and then you started exploring a ritual for your character. But let's unpack a little bit further, right? So you put the kettle on, or you put water in. You walked here, you went there. The water. What did the water look like going in? What was the quality, the attitude, the energy, the texture of the water leaving the tap? You see where I'm going, right? What was the texture, the energy, the quality of the water landing um, in the kettle? How is water in the pipes different to water coming out of the tap? Different to the water in the kettle? How does heat start to affect that? So I'm drawing on the reading that you've just done, and bits that you thought you didn't understand, or you thought didn't make sense to you. Are you seeing how we need to look at these things differently? There is more detail, there's more information than what you're allowing yourselves to give at this point. So once you put the kettle on and the electricity, which is a whole other energy source, started bringing life, giving heat to the water. You had to wait a while. What did you do in that gap while you were waiting? Did you clean a cup? Did you set things up? This analysis is important. If we are giving life to the invisible, if we are bringing, in a mime context, but also if you are giving life to the imagined, the pretend context of a set where it is very difficult to have actual food or actual drink on the space, where you have to sell the idea, you have to reflect life. But to be able to do that, so that it's not just so there's not just a cartoon outline of the thing, fake. You have to pay attention to life. So, what did you do in that gap? Where'd your thoughts go? Where was your weight? Where did your breathing sit? Then, where does your mind go to in the other stuff? In the putting into the bag and the sugar, if that's how you have, and the blah, 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 and the milk and the... Where does your mind go? Is it focused on this thing that I'm doing? Very seldom do our routines, the things that we take for granted, do the things even that we hold important, hold primary focus in our minds. Unless, of course, that is the ritual. Unless, of course, this is the ritual of tea, where each in-breath and out, each dip of the spoon to be able to put into the cup is part of the ceremony of tea. That to allow yourself, your mind to wander elsewhere is to not give the ceremony of tea making its just deserved. Do you have to go and make another cup of tea? Press pause. I'll forgive you. Make some tea for someone else if you need to. I'm sorry about the electricity bill for the boiling kettles. But this is important. Good. Make me a voice note about what you recognize, what you identified in this tea making process. Okay. Good. Task 2. I want you to use... So you've given your character the opportunity to find their own ritual, and that has given you something else. If their ritual is a cigarette, or their ritual is a way they do their hair every morning, or their ritual is reading to someone, or whatever. Those are very, very general, generic things. What is personal and unique to your character? What reveals something about him or her? Or the world? You've done that. If not, pause, go. You're back? Good. Now let's use the journey of making tea as a metaphor. What does he mean now? So, the process of making tea has its own journey, right? And you've worked out the beats of that journey. There is whatever the quality is of the water coming out. There is the putting the kettle on. There's the water boiling. There is the whatever you're doing. There's the water getting hotter and hotter and hotter. There's the steam coming out. That seems to be some sort of a climax of sorts. The kettle switches off. You then move, which then activates you to go into your next phase of maybe you prepared the other stuff while the things were getting ready. Maybe you went to go and do something else. You washed a dish, or you blah, blah, blah. Then you put the sugar in, you put the milk in, everything got prepared. You wanted to drink it, but maybe it was too hot. But maybe you're the kind of person who likes to like scald their mouth every time they take a sip. And then you came back to able to doing whatever the next thing you was. So the beginning, the impulse, I want tea. The conclusion, I'm drinking the tea. Write down the beats. This happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. What is the quality, the texture of each thing happening? Then apply that journey, the texture of that journey, to one of the scenes that you've made in this sequence. So that your character goes through a process of... This is my example. Don't steal it. You'd be way more interesting because also this is a very limited example. So think a lot broader than where I'm pitching this right now. Is that you're lying down and you have the impulse to get up. You start to stretch, which might be the equivalent of opening the tap. And then you shake yourself off to represent the water coming out of the tap. You allow yourself to get up and to move to the first thing that you need to do to be able to get the energy from the kettle, from the whatever it is, to be able to go about and do the thing that you need to do. Okay, you do the thing. You brush your teeth, and that gets done. You wash your face, you clean up, you get dressed, you get warm, and you're finally ready to step out. What becomes the steam there? You see the person that you love, potentially. You do the interaction with that other person, that is the bit of the sugar. You add some milk. You you give it a stir. What is the think about during all? There's so many things that you can play with here. Because here I'm literally just thinking about the beats, right? The that you've gone through the process of making tea. But you could approach this from any of the qualities. You could do the water, the journey of the liquid. Ooh, I'm excited by this. Apply it to a scene or moment. Nice and short. See how it works. See what it does for you. What ideas does it give you to apply to something else? Oh, could this tea making process be the arc of the entire story? Okay. Dealing with metaphor. That's number 3. Play.